my objective is not just to teach you how to fight, because that doesn't, it really doesn't mean much to me, because a lot of people can teach you that, and so what? How many times are you actually going to get into a fight in your life? How many people here has actually been in a real fight? How many people here has been in a real fight was actually life and death? You thought you were going to get stabbed, sliced, bombed, shot. Right? Yeah. I heard some words that out of an average male in North America is going to get into 2 fights in their lifetimes. Out of 100 fights, 1 is going to be life-threatening. Your chances of getting into a life and death situation is not that high because we're so fortunate to live in this country. Right? I'm sure there's other countries we live in, we can get into 10 fights a day. Or even in Canada, if you're so inclined, you can go to a neighborhood where you get into scraps all the time. But because if you're a good person and you dedicate your lifestyle to being happy, you probably won't get into much life threatening. What I'm saying is really bad for business. Because I'm supposed to scare all of you. No, but I don't believe in that, right? So through the medium of violence, of how to handle violence, I want you to learn something more important than learning how to fight or defend yourself. Like some of the things we're talking about today. Just a simple thing like throwing those 3 palm strikes in a second. I just proved to you you can override a human brain. And that's the wired different than us. Majority of the human population can't handle more than 3 stimulus a second. So I just showed you in a very short time that you're actually more powerful than you actually think you are, right? And this is very important to redefine power. Like in the beginning, when we talked about stepping, it's not just about the legs, but feeling under the ground, because we have been conditioned to think this is power. We're all supposed to look a certain way, dress a certain way, and think a certain way, but it's not. This is power. So you're going to start to rewire yourself, or I'm not good enough to do this or that, but yes you are. You just override him in under 5 seconds, right? He just made his computer froze, so he has to reboot Windows. And that's really what you just did. So you want to start thinking that. I want you guys to be open to, when you're training, to use violence as a medium to learn something a little bit more important than just how to scrap, right? So from a traditional Chinese and Japanese and probably other martial traditions around the world, the reason why they use violence as an education is because it's like a pyramid. If I go to the weight room, right, and I can lift 100 pounds, pretend, and I can do that pretty easily, let's pretend, then afterwards, when I walk up to 5 pounds, how do I feel? I feel pretty easy, right? I feel very confident, right? Oh, no problem. But if I can only lift, if my maximum lift was like 10 pounds, and I go up to 10 pounds, it feels like a challenge, right? Or if I can only lift 100 pounds, and I walk up to 90 pounds, it still feels like a challenge without warm-up? Does that make sense? So you want the power of contrast. If you can squat 300 pounds and you walk up to 50 pounds, you start laughing like, oh, this is going to be a joke. It's really easy. So it's that kind of thing. So martial art traditionally as an education system from the beginning of time in feudal society was used to teach you about fear, used to teach you about peace. Because if you can handle something really heavy, everything else is pale by comparison. That was the ideal, right? In old Japan and old China, in the old days, to get educated, half of your day was academic studies, the other half was martial arts. Arrows, sword fighting, all sorts of stuff. But they don't do that anymore, but in the old days they did. Because if you can handle something like someone trying to take your life, other types of fear lessens, right? Same thing as if you can handle something like someone trying to hurt you really bad, other forms of anger is lessened. The 2 big poisons of your mind are fear and anger. Martial arts is one of the biggest things that can help you handle both, right? Skydiving and stuff like that, that can make you handle your fear. You're scared, but you don't hate the sky. When you mountain climb, you're scared to die, but you don't hate the mountain. It allows you to work on your fear, but it doesn't allow you to work on your anger. Does this make sense? But someone trying to knife you, someone trying to kick you in the groin, when you did not do anything that provoked it, not only now are you working on your fear, you're also working on your hatred, your anger, and so forth, learning how to overcome it. Because until you overcome it, you can't function well in a combative situation. If you fight angry and you fight scared, you're not going to fight as well as when you're fighting relatively calm. It does not mean you don't have fear or anger. It means it's no longer in the driver's seat. It's not in control of you anymore. You're in control of it. Does it make sense? It's just about beating yourself, not the other guy. That's what I'm saying, kind of making sense. So martial short, in a way, allows you to work through fear and anger. How do you face somebody without being angry? How do you face somebody without being scared? But we're not taught that. We're taught to justify their anger. I'm mad because he started it. He did this, this, and this to me. I'm justified to be angry. I'm supposed to be angry. I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I calm down? That's what we're taught, in one way or another. But martial art teaches you, well, go ahead and do that. It doesn't try to stop you, but now you're going to lose. You like to win, you better calm down. So little by little, you learn, hey, even though I'm right, if I just learn to calm down, he falls down faster. I like that. I'm going to calm down. And that changes you. Because afterwards, the more the guy falls down, the more you go, I'm not angry at him anymore. I don't even want to hurt him anymore. Because I'm so relaxed. It's hard to be angry when you're relaxed. So it's a really weird thing that happens, you know. So it's hard to talk about this, but just be open to that. You know, I don't want you to just think about fighting all the time when you learn martial art, because that poisons you. And a lot of martial artists are like that. They're so scared to get beat up and learn martial art. 10 years later, when they come back out, they're like bullies. Martial art was not good for them, right? So if you look at it in a different way, it has the potential to really heal you, right? And that's good.